Hello viewers, and a very warm welcome to another episode. The last couple of days I've been messing about with old camcorder viewfinders. For those who don't know, the old camcorders from the 70s, or video cameras from the 70s, and camcorders from the 80s and 90s had a little CRT viewfinder built in the casing there to allow you to see what the camera was seeing. And obviously as time went on, the later ones had an LCD panel, which is not as exciting as one of these, well in my opinion anyway. This is what I've been playing with yesterday. Got it wired up to a 5-volt phone charger there. I'll just do a close-up for you. I may have to do a close-up of that separately. But basically I've got this little games console plugged into it. Obviously that's only a 1/4 inch CRT screen in there, which is not very usable. But for those of you who watch me regularly, you know that I collect all video cameras. Just switch that off. And I've got this one here. This is another black and white viewfinder from a video camera from 1979-1980. Now this actually has I think it's a 2-inch screen inside. So I thought it would be fun to take one of these apart and have a look at it and see what the image looks like on that, see if it's a bit more usable. If it looks any good, I may turn it into a steampunk project in a future video. So I'll have a look inside. Lens there to magnify it. You can just about see the screen in the bottom there. There's a mirror there, the gun's there basically, or the tube's there pointing that way, then it reflects onto that mirror. This viewfinder here actually came with a video camera that already had one on. For some reason it had a spare one with it as well. So I thought to myself, I don't need two for one camera. I'll use it for another project. This is the model number if anybody's interested. It's a JVC VFC511E. I can only see 2 screws, the ones I've done, so let's have a look. There we go. Well, that's certainly a lot bigger than what I've been playing with over the last couple of days. This is what is inside of the one I've shown you just now. As you can see, that's just a 1/4 inch. And in fact, that's a 1 inch, sorry, not a 2 inch. Take that mirror out. I'll just lift the whole thing out. So if you're planning on doing this, by the way, I'll just say these little screens, don't be fooled by the size of them. Even that little one there can output about 5,000 volts, so be very careful. They can still hold a charge even days or weeks after being switched off. I can see a little voltage regulator there, the metal bracket, so that's a little heat sink. That must be an earth. Yeah, that'll be an earth. Yeah, it's even marked ground there, or E for earth. I won't break that off just yet. I just wanted to get it out to give you a size comparison. There we go. So you've got 1/4 inch there versus 1 inch. Actually, no, that's not 1 inch, is it? Come on, let's get my ruler. Let's have a look. Oh, it is just over 1 inch. Yeah, that one's about, it is about 1/4. In millimetres it's about 33, and that one, their visible screen, is about 11 millimetres, so it's tiny. So next thing to do is to try and identify where the voltage goes in and where the composite video input is. Easiest way to find the earth is just to find a capacitor with the minus leg, and that will direct you to the earth. So I'll do that next. Well, I've got my meter here. Just want to double check round cable. I don't want any shorts. It's going to be a waste of a screen if I break it. I think it's that one there. No. G for green. Not that one. What have we got left? Check the red and the green. Check the black one. Oh, but it is that black one. It is. That one there, look. So that's the earth, is the black one. And of course it's actually labelled up E for earth, so sometimes it's just too obvious. And then I just want to check positive. So let's get some power to it now. This will be about 12 volts. Does it say on there anywhere? Maximum 7.5 kilovolts. Wow. Yeah, 12 volts. It's gone on the side there. 1.9 watts. Right, I'll get my power supply ready now. Okay, so I was messing around trying to power it up, and I had a little bit of smoke. I think I put 12 volts in the wrong area. Then I thought to myself, that was a stupid mistake to make. Why don't I just plug it into the camera and trace where the 12 volt input is from the camera supply. So it's currently powered up at the moment. I'm lucky that it actually still works, so I don't know exactly what smoked, but it's still working. So I'm just going to earth it. I found the 12 volt input off camera, and it's this yellow one just here. There we go. So that's 12 volts going in there basically. So now that I found that, I can power it up, and then I need to find the composite video input. So we'll do that next. Okay, so that viewfinder I was working on just now, unfortunately it stopped working. I think I may have inadvertently shorted something out. I don't have time right now to start fault finding on it. I think it might be that choke there that's the problem, but I'll look at that on another video or another time. Luckily I've got another spare viewfinder here. It came with a job lot of stuff. This is another JVC, a CV503. CVF503. I've just tested it because I actually have a camera with exactly the same viewfinder that still works. This viewfinder works, so we'll take this one apart next, and I'll try not to damage this one. Sometimes these things happen, unfortunately, when you're working on things. You catch something, get distracted. Let's see what we've got in this one. I think it's going to be exactly the same, to be quite honest. It's the same voltage, 12 volts again. There we go. Let's compare it to the other one. Oh no, this one's a lot bigger actually. It's actually got 2 boards in it and a fuse as well. This one must be a little bit earlier. Probably the same tube, looking at it. Yeah, this one's got the band around it, which will be handy actually, because the other one didn't have that for the for earthing it. Wow, such a difference. But everything's around the opposite way. The transformer's at that end on this one, the flyback transformer. It's in very good condition to get inside. What I'll do again is I'll power this up with the camera to find out where the 12-volt feed is on it, and hopefully avoid damaging it. It's amazing how much is in there. Got a bigger heatsink as well for the voltage regulator there. Okay, well that was a bit embarrassing. I ended up damaging this unit as well. When I had it out just now, it's the next day by the way, but when I had it out just now, that heatsink there ended up touching that resistor, putting 12 volts where it shouldn't be. Luckily I have the identical viewfinder from a working camera, which helped me find the fault that I created. Basically I replaced that resistor first. I thought it might have been that, but it wasn't. Turns out it was that little transistor just there. It's a little Hitachi transistor. It's a C454, which I've ordered a replacement for eBay, so I can pop it back into that one over there. So now we can carry on. While I was off camera as well, I managed to find the 13 volt or 12 volt input. It's actually measuring 13 volts. It's a yellow and black wire actually just there. Just that one there on that board there. And I've also found, I think it's the video input, which is that grey cable there. It goes right down the back to that board at the back there. So I shall test that in a second. It's going to add on a little DC barrel there, so that I can apply 12 volts safely, and then we'll see if it powers up first, and then we'll try a video signal, see if we can get it to work. It's very unfortunate I ended up shorting that one out, but at least I managed to find out what was wrong with it. Nothing worse when you accidentally damage something when you try to make something out of it. Right, that's the DC cable input added on. I've got a plug there for the other side. I think I'll start that again. Hopefully by the end of this we're about to put that little games console into it that I showed you on the other one. See if it works. First thing I want to do is just find out which is plus and which is the negative. Let's do a quick continuity check. So that's the plus, which is the white one. Perfect. That's the negative. Right, I'll just get my 12 volt supply and we'll be back in a minute. Okay, I pulled a 12 volt transformer out and just making the connections now. Already checked the polarity. Turns out these ones are opposite to the colours that are on the cables for what I'm plugging it into. It's always worth checking your polarity. Don't want any more accidents. Right, I've already connected the video cable to the back there. Time to plug it in. Got an old AC adapter here. It's a JVC CVA CVAC 224 outputs. We've got the 13.2 volts, 1.4 amps. That should be more than enough. Make sure that's switched off. Just turn these lights down so you can see. Make sure everything's nothing to touch in. Right, fingers crossed. And it's not coming on. Flashing over. See the tubes lighting up at the back, the heater there's lit up. But we're not getting a picture. Right, back to the drawing board, let's do a bit more research and playing around off camera, and then we'll be back hopefully soon. Okay, I figured it out. I was missing an earth loop. I needed to earth the video signal going into it because it basically wasn't activating the circuit to put out a picture, which I now have a picture. It's coming from one of those little 100 million games in one little consoles. I'm going to go away now and set this up a bit neater so I don't damage anything, and then do a little demonstration of it working. Sorry for the poor picture quality there, but I don't want to move anything in case I end up shorting it out again. So I'll be right back in a bit after I've made it a bit neater. Eventually I hope to mount it on something. I'm not quite sure what yet. I may turn it into a little steampunk project, do a little steampunk TV with a magnifier on the front, but we'll have to see. My ideas usually start out like this, messing around with stuff, and then months later, sometimes even years later, I get around to actually doing the project. Although I am quite excited about this one, so I may end up getting this one done sooner than later. So we'll be back in a bit. Okay, the transistors just turned up for the one that I broke, or the one that I shorted out by mistake. So I'm going to fit that one now to this other viewfinder. As you can see, its power light's on there, but unfortunately it's not working. So because obviously I took the transistor out of that one and put it in the other one just to see if that was the fault, and it was. So we'll do that next. Turn that off. Just move that one out of the way. It's amazing how quickly it gets messy. Right, it's that one there that I'm taking out. connectors, C454. It's always awkward when there's 3 legs involved instead of 2. There we go. Right, that's in place now. Make sure it's facing the same way as the other one, because the board shows it as being one way round. On the screening print there, but it's actually wrong. It's a good job I had another one to compare it to. Right, let's plug it in, see if it works. Turn these lights off. Camera switched off. Yes. Okay, fingers crossed, let's see if it works. Yay! Lighting up, there we go. Got some lines going across the screen there, so it might want some adjustment. But at least it's working again. Yeah. That's good then, so that's that one sorted. Something I just noticed actually about these two. The tube on that one's a lot longer than the one on the left. The one on the left there is a Hitachi. Just see the brand underneath. And this one's a Matsuita. So that one's a little bit shorter. Fascinates me that so much is needed just for the viewfinder compared to the later ones. You look at that one there, that 1/4 inch compared to that 1 inch. The difference in technology just probably 10 years later. In fact, maybe 12 or 13. It's amazing, isn't it? Miniaturisation. Right, time to put this one back together now so I can put it back to the camera it belongs with. It's served its purpose. Lucky I had another one to compare it with, so that helped me save it. Put the screwdriver away. Magnify it. It's actually glass, that is. This is the camera it belongs to. So JVC still works as well. I think it's a CV3001. The model number's underneath of there. Just notice it's bulging there at the front. Not even had that apart, so I don't know why that's doing that. Peculiar way how it all holds together. And then the viewfinder plugs in the front there. Let's just turn it on. There we go. All working again. So here it is up and running with the little games console plugged into it. One thing I have noticed actually is that on the actual CRT tube itself, just on the right hand side there, everything's back to front. Let's turn the camera around so you can see that. Because obviously it's set up so that it reflects onto that piece of glass there into your eye as you look through the eye cup. If I remember rightly, all I need to do is swap around a couple of wires on the yoke. I think it's the blue and the red wire there, which need to here. Where was it? Just there. So I'll try that in a bit. First of all, while it's still working, I just thought I'd actually see what a little bit of gameplay looks like on it. Obviously there's no sound. It's still neat though. Looking forward to getting this set up on some kind of wooden base. So like I said, I'll do a steampunk little TV. I'll take all the tube out and everything, extend the cables like I did when I did the steampunk Amiga, and we'll just see the tube basically on the top of it, and all the electronics will be hidden away inside. But next thing to do is just swap those two wires around. But you know, I think I might save that for another time. I think I've done enough for that today. It's not my usual type of video. I just thought I'd film behind the scenes for a change of what I do when I'm experimenting with things and taking things apart. Sometimes it's just as interesting as doing a proper video. Patience got the better of me, and I did decide to swap those two cables around, and it has reversed the image the way I want it now. Because obviously before it was mirrored, so now it's facing the right way. It was just the red and blue wire coming off the back of the yoke. Just swapping that around reversed it for me. That was an idea or a tip I got off of YouTuber 12 Volt Vids. Great channel. It's always repairing something. Very knowledgeable guy. He did go on to say as well about that little mod you can do. You can't do the same thing with the yoke on the colour screen because it will mess up all your convergence. So I guess that's the end of that. Next thing I'll do in the future is make a little stand for it, hide all the electronics in a box, have the CRT exposed on its own, and turn it into a little video games console in the steampunk style. Well, I hope you enjoyed watching that with me. It wasn't my usual type of video. I just thought for a change I would film me taking things to pieces and experimenting and sometimes damaging things, unfortunately. But it goes with the territory. But I like to give some of these old things a new lease of life. And I just love working with little CRT screens as well, just so interesting. Well, as always, thanks for watching, and until next time, I'll be seeing you.